Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another faculty interview for Kentucky Christian Writers Conference 2026. Yay!
Yay!
I'm Sarah R. Turnquist, and I'm the coordinator this year for KCWC.
Hi, I am really excited that you're here for our interview today. I am Cindy Smith, and I am the faculty chair for this year's conference. And we are really excited to have with us today Tammy Karasek. Hi,
Hi,
Tammy.
Tammy.
Hi there.
Hey, so Tammy, tell us a little about yourself, where you're hailing from, and maybe what you like to do for fun.
Well, I am joining you all from Northern Ohio, almost up at Lake Erie today. I'm a mid-central Ohio born and raised. Spent about 9 years in South Carolina and moved back about 2 years. So I have Southern blood in me from my mama and my grandma. And so it's fun to be South for a little while. But, once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye. So it's kind of fun to be back up in Ohio again. And the things I love to do up here is I love fall. So I love going out to the different parks, and summer I like to go to the different farmers markets and things like that. But when I have free time, I'm probably like most writers, I'm reading something. But I also love to cook, and I'm a grad from a small cooking school. So I love playing in the kitchen as well. And I also was a former professional quilter, making quilts for people. But like I always like to say to people, I just don't know what I want to be when I grow up. So I keep playing.
I get that. I get that. I totally relate. Because I like to read and crochet and cook, and I do a lot. So I am really excited about you being here. But to get to know you a little better, could you tell us what you enjoy to write the most? Or what do you enjoy about writing the most?
There's a lot of stories rolling in my head, like in 3D, that people have always said, why don't you take all of that and put it down? Oh, no, nobody would want to read my stories. And when I started writing them, just goofing off and letting friends read it, they're like, why are you not finishing this and publishing? Like, I don't know. I'm not an author. And they're kind of like, maybe you should think about that. So I started playing around, and I kind of find that no matter how hard I try, my characters end up being very similar to me. A little ornery, a little sassy, always up to something. And I tried to write non-romance, and an author, a very prolific author, highly published, said, yeah, this isn't you. You need some romance in there. You are a mush. You need to do that. And when I started doing that, it was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Because all I kept thinking about is where I used to read books when I was first in college. And I remember it was a very popular author, and my husband, when we were dating and then first married, would buy me these books. And one night he was laying over my shoulder reading, and he's like, I bought that for you. That's like smut. And I'm like, no, it isn't. And he goes, yes, it is. And it wasn't, but it was, the curtain might have been pulled back a little bit more. I mean, there wasn't graphic, but the more I thought about it, the more convicted I got that, yeah, maybe it's close. And my daughter called it light porn, Mom. This is light porn. So I was like, no, it isn't. So it's kind of like, no, there's a way to be romantic without that. So that's when one friend said, write what you'd like to read. And I'm not sure. I mean, I know she didn't come up with that phrase. I've seen it a lot. So that's what made me start writing more of the romance. But as I say on my website, romance with a splash of sass.
Ooh, and that is so you, Tammy. As I've gotten to know you, I really love your sense of humor, and I love that what I've read of yours, that you're injecting that into your stories, and so I find them extremely entertaining. But we've noticed that your tagline is tickled pink, and I know there's a story behind that, but can you share how you came up with that?
Sure. I didn't come up with that. My grandma, or as I called her when I was little, my Mama Mead. I was always giggling. I was always being scolded for giggling when you shouldn't be. And she would always say, "What's got you so tickled pink?" Or she would say, "Here comes Giggle Gertie." And it kind of stuck with the tickled pink. And then as I grew older and I wore a ton of pink and or blue, but that was always because the pink shirt didn't come in pink, I became Tickle Pink Tammy to my grandma. "Here's my Tickle Pink Tammy. Here's my Tickle Pink Tammy." And I said, "Why are you always calling me that, Grandma?" I was older. And she goes, "Because you find joy and a reason to laugh for anything you do in life." And I went, I kind of do. And so it has stuck since I was probably 4 when she started calling, and then high school, college, when I realized what she meant by that. And it has actually stuck all these years. I can be at a conference of somebody that I have met for years ago, and then we see each other, but they see me. I'm thinking of one person in particular. He will scream across the entire auditorium, "Tickle Pink!" And I'm like, there's Mark, wherever. So it just has stuck. And so it's kind of like, why throw it out? It just kind of stuck even into my adulthood.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I like, there's a meme that I've seen several times. It says, if we're ever in a serious situation, don't sit next to me or I'll have you laughing. That's, I'm not very good in serious situations like that. I always find humor in stuff.
I get in trouble at funerals. Everybody's crying, and I will think, especially if I know the person that we're there respecting, and I will think of a fun time with them or a fun conversation, and I'll just kind of put my head down and think of, like, should I pinch my leg? What should I do? Should I think of something sad? What should I do? I can feel it
bubbling up.
And anybody that's sitting beside me is like, remember my cousin doing that, and one of our relatives, and they looked and they go, "I'm moving. If you start, I'm moving." Because we'll both get in trouble then. But I'm not the one. If we're supposed to behave, I'm not your pew mate.
You and I take it that you and I shouldn't sit together if it's serious.
Probably, maybe not during the keynote. Maybe not during the keynote.
When they're giving us that good encouragement, and you can do this, and we're over there. It's exactly misunderstood.
I am excited about your workshops. I have not launched my first book. I'm still in the process of getting it edited and getting cover art, but I love the workshops that you're going to be offering. They're beta readers, street teams, and launch teams. Do I need them? Help, how do I run my launch team? And I've launched my book. Now what? And honestly, it is very, I've been with Sarah through so many launches now, but I am very intimidated by the thought of launching. So I am excited about these workshops. So do you feel like your instructional, how you teach with the workshops, are they more instrumental? You're probably not going to be.
I will not sing. I will not be. I will be instrument. No instruments involved. Or no.
Okay. Are they more instructional, interactive, or inspirational?
Yes.
Or a combination of all of them?
They definitely are all three. My favorite tagline in my book is that I want to, for an author, when I wrote the book, to train authors, because I can't do all the launches and I can't speak at every conference, but I want them to have this tool and to take that stress off. So my little mantra, so to speak, is educate, equip, and then encourage. But when I run a launch team for someone as the launch team geek, I do that same thing with each and every launch team member, because when they know why we do reviews and they get the instruction of how to write them, and then I say thank you and I encourage them, they win. They now can feel confident going and doing more for other authors. And when it's their turn, they got it down. They know what they need to do because they were instructed on how. Many times I have found that launch team members have no clue why we do the reviews and why you should. They have no clue why you shouldn't just get free books all the time, and that the cost that is for an author. Many authors pay for all those books if you send them. So they're like, "Oh, I didn't know that." So once people know, then when they want to support that author, they're all in because they understand. Otherwise, they're just like, well, okay, whatever. So I like to do that for the author as well as the launch team member. And that's what I do in my classes. I try not to bring my Ohio Speedy Gonzalez voice and tell you all about things about the launches and keep on going. I try to tell myself, and it's a struggle sometimes because I do get excited, but it's like, slow it down, Tammy. They can't keep up with this, because I want them to stop and wait a minute. You just said this. I have no idea what you're talking about. Stop. Let's fix it now. Because if I get to the end and you're like, I lost you at 10:05 from the class that started at 10. But my goal is I want them to walk out of there with their shoulders back and going, I can do this. I will be able to do this when it's time for my book. So
I have a friend at church who loves to be on launch teams. I was talking to her about launch teams and stuff, and she's like, oh, I love being on that. I love doing like all the stuff that you suggest. So I'm wondering like if she knows someone who knows you, but she's like, I like doing Goodreads reviews and posting things. I'm like, ooh, if she doesn't, if
write her down,
Tammy, I know exactly. Her name is on my list. But I'm like, if she doesn't know Tammy, I should definitely connect them.
Yes.
I have an elite team that of people that I reach out to when, especially a new author. Well, I have 20 people on my newsletter. I got you. I've got an elite team. If they're available, I pop it out, give them the blurb. I pop it out to them and say, anybody available or would like to try this author? It's a new author to you. So I do have an elite team that I can reach out to. And I'm always looking for people like that who knows what you do need to do and add that to them. And I tell them, I don't send you a monthly or a weekly or a monthly newsletter of what's coming or whatever. I send you an email when I need you. You either, if you want to be on it, rather, you fill out the form or you just delete it. I don't ask them to say, I'm busy right now, I can't do that. I said, I want this to be as easy for you as it can be. So just ignore that if you can't do it. If you can, fill out the application and join in on the fun. I usually have a lot of fun on them. So
that's awesome.
I was gonna say, I like the fact that you said you're excited about the material, that you're passionate about it. I think that will really translate well to the people who are going to be in your workshop. If you are excited about it, you're going to help them to get excited about it.
I have a hard time calming it down. I have been on over 400 launch teams myself since 2012. So
oh my goodness.
I kind of like them. Yeah, I kind of like them. So when the name Launch Team Geek was thrown around, the people I was sitting there with doing a little brainstorm of what should I call it? When I said that, they're like, oh yeah, I don't know anybody that likes them as much as you do. You're weird. And I go, ooh, own it. I like it.
Yeah. Well, that kind of gets into our next question. Your workshops are more geared toward the business side of writing. And so tell us a little bit more about how you got into helping authors launch their books.
A couple friends found out how much I had been on launch teams. I used to work directly for Waterbrick Noma. I was just an automatic launcher from 2012 on, and a bunch of other companies that have now gone out of business, but that was a publisher, so that stayed there. So they found out that I had been on so many, and they're like, well, could you show us how to do this? Or better yet, would you just do it for us? And I'm like, I could, I'll just do it. And we'll pay you. No, you don't have to pay me. I'll just do it. And then I started doing it, and they're like, you can't not get paid for this. You're putting a lot of time in it. And I said, well, it does take time, but you have to be organized. And the first time is going to take you a long time. Your first book that you launch is going to take you a lot of time. Not going to lie to you. Once you've done it, and especially if you were following my book and you've done it and you're like, oh, I just didn't like this part right here. Either tweak it or take it out, but then put some value back in there. And that's what I always tell people. This is not the only way. This is where I saw success. Things change. Like my book went out of print. I had to redo it, but I also had to change 2 chapters because the Zahn had changed some things. So, spin it up. Let's get that fixed. But
Yeah.
you just having that kind of experience, they were all just looking at me like, you should be doing this. And boy, where am I? This is 20. My mathing's not mathing today.
I was told there would
7
be no
years?
math.
Yeah, there's no math there's no math here.
Okay, good. Well, somewhere around 7 years, I've been doing it for people. I started helping at first, and then I started doing would you just do it? I don't even want to do it. I'm afraid. And I said, only if you will observe, because eventually you're going to need to do this. And so that's what a lot of authors, if they're a first-time author, I will ask them just to ride along on the train and just watch everything I'm doing so that they can do it. The other thing I will do, if someone is getting ready, they want to start this kind of a business, I will ask them to come in, but you must be an active participant and do everything I'm asking everyone to do so that you feel it. You know what it means when I say share a graphic. And I talked with this one girl. She goes, well, everybody knows how to do that. I go, oh, but do they?
They don't.
Because we're in a private group. It's not just share. You have to jump a little extra hoop by taking it out, because that's Amazon's rule. So she's like, oh, I don't think I want to do this. I go, yes, you do. When you're equipped with the tools and you know why you're doing it, you'll be fine. And so now that girl's, she's out. She's 2 books a year and doing her own. So I was excited because I want the authors to take it away from me. And somebody said, you know, you're putting yourself out of business. And I said, no, I'm not. I'm still very busy, but it gives me joy watching them going, I can do this. I got it.
Yeah.
That's my goal.
And it makes me think of, a talk that Sarah has done and about like the different hats that we as independent authors. Right. And this would fall like when you're new, it would make sense to hire someone to walk you through the process. And I like that you want to equip them to do it themselves, because I think the more encouragement you give and make them feel that they are able to do it, the stronger they're going to be as an author, even there, because they're going to, I think as you're writing, you're like, oh, this is something I could maybe use in my launch as I'm, make a graphic over this scene that I can share in my launch. So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
So I guess this question might be more redundant, but if there's one thing that you would like to see the people who come to your workshops walk away with, what would that be? Or did I just freeze?
Freeze.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. For some reason, my Wi-Fi is not strong today. But my question is, if there's one thing that these people are the people that will come to your workshops walk away with, what would that be? What would you want them to walk away with?
The confidence that they can do that. They can do a launch, the benefit of what it would be and why they should learn how to do them. I don't want to put all of us that do launches for people out of business. There are times when someone's super busy and they need someone to do it, but there is something beneficial in the right way of promoting your own work. You are going to be the one to be able to say what you want known about that book. So I want people to walk away from my classes with the confidence that I'm going to do this. I'm going to give it a try. I know her email. I'll ask her a question, but I want them to not just panic. There's no reason to panic. There's all the things that you've been told about how hard it is to do one. I will tell you all the reasons why it's not too hard to do one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think it is one of those things that can feel very intimidating. And so I'm glad that in your classes and in your book, you break it down a little bit more for the author and for writers that will be on other launch teams. I think that's fantastic. We have just one more question for you. What is your favorite thing about writers conferences, and why should someone sign up for KCWC or another writers conference?
I can only do one. As a writer, this is where you need to be. These are your peeps. These
Mhm.
are the people who are as weird as you, sitting down to a computer all alone, letting all those little stories come through your fingertips. And these people get you. These people
Mhm.
understand the angst of being alone. But if you're not alone, you don't write. So when you talk with the others that are at this conference and the fellowship and the connections that you make, it is not like sitting and talking to a relative and they go, so like you write an hour a day and like by the end of the week you have a book and you're like, oh, in my wildest dreams that would happen. These people get you. These are the people that will stick with you for many years and
Mhm.
maybe become your writing partners where you throw things back and forth and say, tell me what you think. I'm not going to tell you what I think. What do you think about this 3 chapters or whatever? But they know where you're coming from and you
Yeah.
build that trust. And then you look forward to the conference again or another conference you're both going to be. And some people will meet up a little extra or stay late and fellowship again and maybe do brainstorm, or like some of us do, we get together once a year and we work on our work, right, Sarah?
Yeah.
you just, these are your people. These people get you. The
Mhm.
learning is just fabulous, but those connections that take you from I'm a writer to I'm a writer and I'm going away for the weekend with my writing friends at this conference.
Yeah.
There's a big change I think I've seen in so many as a teacher at these conferences. Beginning day, last day, not looking at the exhaustion of so much so fast, just the confidence, the change, and just being with, like I said, other weirdos that get you.
Mm.
We're all
Yeah.
weirdos sitting in these
We are.
rooms by ourselves, but it's
Yeah.
for a good reason. And it's just neat to see a conferee on the registration day and then see that same girl guy leaving on Sunday saying, I don't want to go home yet. I want to stay and hang out with you guys. So I think
Absolutely.
that's really cool for me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Mm.
Yeah, it is interesting because I do think we watch movies and we see people who write books and they just sit down and the book just flows
Yes.
and they just write and they never, but you know, uh, when I started working for Sarah during COVID, there's a lot more involved in if you are an author and you want it to be your livelihood, there's so much more involved. And I think you're right. Having other people who understand that is
Yep.
important.
Yeah.
I mean,
for
there's
sure.
something about being able to have a couple people that you have met at a conference. And I'm not now, but if you're writing like romantic suspense or something, and you can reach a point during your week and you send a text to your writing partner and say, okay, I've decided I don't like my main character anymore and he wasn't going to get killed, but this afternoon I think I'm going to kill him. Which way do you think I should do that? And if you said that to a regular friend, they're going to go, I'm looking up a number for someone for you to talk with now. That person on the other end as a writer is going to go, well, you can't do the rope because you already did that, but you could put it on the track and then you go, and I can help you take the whole, there's just that. They get you and then you take them with you all year long. So
That's
my
so
daughter's
fun.
right. Both my daughters right, but my younger daughter, one day she's like, Mom, if anyone ever checked my search history, I think they would be really concerned. And I said, why? She goes, well, I just researched like how long does it take the normal pig to eat a human body? And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's not one I've ever searched, but I've got some
Yeah.
doozies too.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Tammy, for joining us today and for sharing about your classes. We are so excited that we're going to get to see you in Kentucky. And those of you watching, please make sure that you put Tammy's classes on your list of classes that you want to take. And we will see you too in Kentucky in October.
That's right. Bye, everyone.
See you soon.